Hi, this is Dave, and I'm with my brother Rich today, and we're getting ready to lay down an engineered hardwood floor. Basically, it's flooring that is put together in kind of a laminated fashion. So the top layer is wood, and everything else is a compressed composite. And super easy to transform the look of your house. First thing we had to do in this house was this whole floor on this side of the room was sunken. So we had to raise it up, which involved 2x12s on that side, 2x6s on this side, and then putting down a 5/8 subfloor. And then after we got that all leveled, we had a low spot on this side of the room. And so before you lay your floor, you want to make sure everything is completely level, smooth. Well, this area we did floor leveler on, and basically it's a concrete mix that's real smooth, and you can feather an edge to it real well. Dries overnight, and so now this whole surface is level as one flat surface. After you know you got a good floor, the wood, once you get the wood delivered, you have to open up the boxes. Usually you just open up the ends and let them sit for 3 or 4 days so they can get to the same temperature and humidity of the room in which you're laying the floor. And so that sat for a few days while we got the wood. The next thing we had to do is lay the pad. The pad is it's called QuietWalk. It's relatively thin, 1/8 inch or a little more pad, and it's recycled material. It functions as a vapor barrier and a way to quiet when you're walking on the wood. And so you just duct tape these together throughout the whole floor. Once the pad was down, we made sure that we had a straight line, and for that we use a laser level. And laser level is up there. It's a marvelous tool. It gives you an ability to make sure that you get a nice straight line on whatever you're trying to do. Our goal was to have this line right here the same distance from the wall here as it is down there, and then we can measure off this, make sure the rows of wood that we're laying down are straight. Once that's all done, we start pulling the wood out and putting it into stacks. We randomly stack these boards to make sure that if there are any similarities in wood, that we separate them out so it doesn't look like all the same batch of wood out of the same box. And this particular manufacturer, they have about 9 different lengths of boards, which is the ones we've had in the past have only been about 6 different lengths. So this one's a little bit different. But anyway, then it's just a matter of stacking the boards brick style across the room, and you can see it's very easy to do. You have one board laying down, and the other board goes next to it and clicks in. And then for the next board, you stagger the seams, so it's just a matter of getting a different size board, and it just simply slides in and clicks down, and you're in. And that's as hard as it is. It's the complicating parts are when you have to go on an odd shape like this. It requires a little extra cutting. Usually a jigsaw or a chop saw will do the trick. Circular saw even would work. And these here are jigsaw or a Dremel. When we get to this point, we'll lay the wood here, draw a line on the wood, and then cut out this square so that that'll just drop right in. And then it's just a matter of putting in the time. There's 24 pieces per box. We have 60 boxes, so about 1,500 pieces of wood we have yet to go before this floor is in. Probably we'll have it all laid in a couple days, and then we have to do trim and final cuts and similar things, small things like that.
We got one piece down. Okay, because this is a floating floor, you can't go exactly against the wall.
Gotta leave room for expansion.
All right, we are rolling. It's almost a floor.
What we have next for you is a time lapse of us actually laying down the floor. Pay particular attention to how the floor gets laid. You'll see that when the floor is being placed, it goes very fast, but you're going to find lulls in the time lapse, and you'll see there's still a lot of prep work, laying down the pad, stacking the wood. Probably takes as much time as the actual laying of the floor. So just notice that. When we're all done with it, we'll show you a few tips and tricks after the time lapse to make sure you get a really good final finish. All right, here we have a simple trick when you're cutting a floor. Rather than always having to pull out the tape measure, the floors that we have right here, they're going in this way. So simply push in and lock. That's how it would go. When you get to an end of a run, your next board is going to want to go in this space. You could take a tape measure from here to there, or you could just simply flip this board over this way, leave the appropriate gap for us it's about 1/4 of an inch, and then just come to the back here and mark it right here where it ends there, and then transfer that cut, that mark right there, and then you cut that board at that spot and it'll fit perfectly in there. Never have to pull out a tape measure. Some other stuff that we're gonna look at is, this is always a complicating part of any floating floor deal. Getting it here and snug up against an area, especially door jambs and walls, is always a problem. And so I already pre-cut this board, and I'll show you how it's going to work, and then I'll show you how we got to this point. But this one, we took all these measurements, transferred them to this board, and literally got as close as we could. Now here I undercut the drywall, so this board's going to slide underneath the drywall, and I undercut the door jamb, so you can see my fingers going underneath that, so that there's room for this board. Now it doesn't always happen this way, but this particular floor, though it's locking, you still can move it with a little effort. You still can slide it. Some boards do not let you slide, and then if your board doesn't slide like that, then you have to shave this locking mechanism, this tongue, I guess, if you will. You have to shave that off and then just glue it in. But ours will actually click in and lock, but we can still slide it. So we're sliding it under the wall, right up to here to this door jamb, and under this door jamb. And there you go. We're good to go. This is going to have drywall over it. This should be molding or drywall, and then this door jamb will have trim on the side of this. So it's all nice and neat, no gaps or anything like that. Pretty easy. This way you don't have to remove the jamb itself. You can just go under it. Now to get this undercut, you can do this with a handsaw, or we've got a Multi-Max Dremel. It does the trick really well, so we'll give this a shot and just show you how it works. We're using a board as our template, just our height guide to show where we're going to need to be. And we just slide this right across it and cut it. You do the same thing with a handsaw. What's fun about this particular house is that they put the door jambs in and then they tiled around it. So these are all sunken cement. but or a mortar bed. But nonetheless, it's the same process. Okay, and now we're just going to pop that out. It'll end up looking like this one here, with a pretty big gap that will easily accept this board and leave you just a perfect finish. So these are the hard parts. These are very time consuming, but when you have a couple tricks and tips like this, it'll help you do it and you get the best finish. It's time consuming. This right here will probably take a half an hour to do on both sides, maybe more, but it's worth it in the end to do it right the first time. Another tip that we have here is because these boards have a locking mechanism on the front and the back, that has you can see a tongue that snaps into the groove on the receiving side. So normally it would go like this, and you have to go in at an angle, and then it locks down. Well, this one, because I'm going to be under this jamb, we just cut this jamb out. If you want to finish the other side here, what I've done is cut that groove. There was a groove like this on this side, and I cut it all off with the Dremel. And so now it lacks that groove, so I can slide it over this part right here, and it meets perfectly. What we got to do, since it's lost its locking mechanism, is we'll just add a bead of glue here to keep it tight. So we cut the jamb, we cut our board, we trimmed off the locking portion of this so it's going to slide right in, and then we can just take our board that normally needs to be tipped in and then locked. This one can just go slide under the cutout, and then right over here. And on this one, we left that locking one because it'll slide. And then it'll just slide right in there, and boom, done. So I'm gonna pull that back out and put glue in there, slide it in, and it's done, and you have a perfect fit on both sides now. So I hope this helps. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. We have a lot more videos coming, and we'd love for you guys to see them. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye.